All right, I'm gonna do this story. All right, quick little story I made up, but it's a concept to it, and I want you to get what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right. You have a below average man, and I'm not talking about money wise. We're just talking about physical appearance, because on planet Earth, physical appearance is a very big deal. Everything since I've been a kid, Miss America, all these things, always been a big deal in school. And a lot of us got picked on, and a lot of us just didn't look the part because we developed later, or some of us just let the shit get to us and we just let go and just, got fat and out of shape and fucked up. Right? Now, you have a below average guy and you have an above average guy, okay? In school. Okay? And the below average guy sees this high school baddie, okay? High school baddie, all right? Beautiful. Now, in life, the below average guy has a very hard time getting a woman or getting a girlfriend or any kind of companionship. So what do you think the below average guy goal is, and what do you think he dreams about on a daily basis? Women. He dreams about having this one girlfriend, okay? He dreams about having this one girlfriend, okay? That's his dream. That's his goal. He just wants this one beautiful girl, because we all had that girl that we just thought was beautiful, right? Okay. And the above average guy, he's dated and talked to and been with the women, has no issues getting women, okay? So who really knows the women? The below average guy who thinks about them and hasn't really dated them, but has had a few conversations here and there with them, or the guy that's actually been with the women, dated them, had real relationships with them, and done all the things with them you could do. All right? So check it out. You got the woman, the above average chick. Everybody in school, she's a school baddie. But she's horrible attitude. She's rude, she's nasty. She has no remorse for nothing she does. She talks down to people. She can't, shows no love, no compassion for other people. It's all about her. If you ain't popular, you ain't shit. Oh, fuck the fat guy, fuck this person. Oh, he's ugly. This one don't look good. Or I would never talk to him in a million years. You got this chick, right? And she's doing all this bad shit. Okay, listen to it. And the fat guy is just infatuated with her, okay? He's like, man, she can do whatever she wants to do. I just want her as my girlfriend. I have faith that she'll change. I know one day she'll be a good girl. Listen to it. This is what the fat guy is thinking, okay? He thinks he knows her because she's been pretty cool with him, okay? But the jock guy has actually been with her, slept with her, dated her, and completely kicked her to the curb because her attitude is horrible. Everyone sees her doing horrible, nasty things to people. But the guy that's infatuated with her, the fat guy, he just doesn't see, he believes in her. He doesn't believe that she's really this horrible person that everybody thinks, or one day she'll change, right? So he's willing to take her, even if it means she's gonna put him through shit and he's gonna get treated like shit. He is still willing to accept this girl no matter what. Okay, listen to it. All right, so you got him, all right, and you got the above average guy that's like, man, that girl's horrible. I wouldn't date her again in a million years. She's nasty, she's this, she's that. He really knows her, right? Okay. All right. So, down the road, it comes down like this. The above average, the lady is running for something that's going to be over a bunch of people. And everyone knows that she's nasty. But because she's a girl, a lot of the girls want to vote for her, right? And the man that is speaking of her it's the fat guy from school, okay? And he thinks he knows her, right? So now everybody's looking up to this fat guy in school, because he's speaking up for women. And he's voting for her, and everyone else knows that she's evil and nasty. But some of the girls are voting for her because she's a girl and because they're her friends. And then you have the men that are just not voting for her at all right? And the jock guy is saying, yo, this girl's trash. She's horrible. You put her there, it'll be a big mistake. She's going to destroy, mess up everything, right? Who do you take the word of? If you had to put your life on it, and the fat guy said, I know her, we should choose her, she's the right choice, it doesn't matter about all those things, and this girl has the power to lead you to your death, to take away everything you had, everything you built, would you follow the fat guy if you had to go with a choice, or would you follow the jock guy that actually knows her? Would you use common sense, or would you put your trust and your hope and the girl would change one day, or let's just pick her because she's a girl? Which would you do? Okay? I say that to say this. Does the fat guy really know her? He thinks he does. And he's willing to take whatever she's willing to give. Where the jock guy really knows women, and he knows that there are some bad women that you should never give the chance to, time or day at all. You should never even try to date or give opportunity to, because they're horrible and they're nasty, and they're just going to do some old foul ass shit because he's been with them and he knows. But you got the other guy who has all this faith in him, and his whole goal is a woman, and the other one goal is saving, doing the right thing. But the fat guy is saying this is the right thing, but the jock guy is saying it's the wrong thing. And we all got common sense and know that, hey, there's a lot of truth to this person being this way and this behavior that they got. You know, I don't know if this is a great idea to choose this person, okay? Because we all know what this person record and track record is when it comes to these things, okay? Who would you follow? Who knows the women better? The fat guy or the jock guy that actually dated the woman? And who would you follow? Would you do common sense and just you see the bad things and not pick the person that's going to do the bad things? Or would you pick the person that's going to do the bad things and hope that they will change? Or, I mean, would you take that chance? There was a channeler, the white channeler dude. And I say that to say this. Before I go to him. Below average men goal in life is companionship, a woman. And they're willing to accept things that men should never accept. They don't know women, but they think they do. And whenever, I'm not saying all of them are like that, but a lot of them are. And whenever you're dealing with the below average man and he's talking about a woman, you're going to be in real men are going to be in big disagreement with that guy. Below average just doesn't mean fat. He could be short and skinny. He could be tore up and ugly. These guys all had goals of having and being with a woman, a beautiful woman. And they don't care how she treats him. Where a man that's been with women knows you can't just give them everything and you can't just follow them blindly because they will take you to the cleaners. But the other guy is like, oh, that's a chance that we should take. And you should take her to 5-star restaurants and you should do... Listen, and the other guy has common sense and says, man, that's just stupid. If she likes you, she ain't gonna make you do all that, which is true. But to the fat guy in his mindset, because you're dealing with the mindset, to his mindset, that's the way you have to treat them, because that's what he has to go through to get anywhere near sleeping with them. Where the other guy has taken them out to regular places and slept with them and didn't have to go through any of that shit. So who knows the women better? The fat guy, the below average guy, or the above average guy? Who's better with women? Who understands them more? The above average guy understands them more. The below average guy don't. He don't. He has to pay for it to get it. He has to audition for it to get it. He has to take it to 10 restaurants on 10 dates and say all the right words and pay her bills to get it. And what women will do is say, this is the guy, this is a gentleman, because she's taking his money. But her goal is, and what she really wants, is the nice looking guy to do all those things, so she can enjoy the person she's going to be with and get the money. That's all their goal. There ain't no rich fools out there. There ain't no stupid dummies out there. The below average guys might be stupid, some of them, the majority of them, but the above average not. And what I mean by that is a below average guy will follow a woman off the cliff and say he's willing to put his whole life on that. And if you followed him, he'd take you with him, because he'd lead you there, because he want to believe that it's this and this and that. And he'd be so shocked to find out that she was garbage and shit the whole time. And the other guy would have been like, I told you guys, don't do that. And the other guy would be like, man, they're queens. We should trust them. We should this. So I'm saying that to say this. There are certain men that even though they have money, they're paying for the pussy. The only reason they got the women with them is because the women are with them because they want their money. And those guys don't know anything about women. Those are the guys that are going to tell you, you should do all of this, you should give her that, you should pay for this. And real men know that you don't got to do any of that stuff if someone likes you. They're not coming to you about money. So you can't trust the word of the below average men when it comes down to the women. If cameras get in that dude's face and he wants the women and he wants the attention and he wants to be praised by the women, he'll say whatever the women want to hear, and he will chop down the men in a heartbeat, just because he's gonna finally get the attention of those women he always wanted. And he don't care if it cost him all the men. He will still down his own sex and his own people, even though he can see the women are doing bad things, because to him they could do no wrong. So you can't trust the word of a man who is all about the women and his goal was a woman and he willing to do anything to get the woman. You just can't. And when those guys speak, if you had to follow a path, you can't follow them. You cannot follow them, because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know nothing about women, and they're leading you the wrong way. Now, you got a lot of niggas out there that are speaking about women, and some will come out and say some stuff, and some have no clue about how things are and how things really work. Okay? They just don't. And that white channeler, he says some intelligent stuff, but when I heard him say if we pick Kamala, the aliens say if we pick Kamala, we'll have first contact with the aliens. But if we pick the man, he'll destroy the United States. I stopped listening and watching him from that point on, because there are so many stupid people that will just believe anything. This is when I knew he was full of shit. Whatever he channeling ain't here to help us. Let me put it that way. Because if Kamala opened the borders, if Kamala has locked up people and had them in there for free labor and held innocent people in prison, if Kamala had a catch and release program for people who were killers and rapists, and Kamala watched families and girls get killed and raped when those people came over here and did apologize to the families, if there's a person like that running for anything, I would never vote for them. This woman gave away all the American taxpayers' money to the migrants and opened the fucking borders. And they started the fucking war. They started it. You get Zelensky, he comes on talking about how Russia invaded Ukraine back in 2015 and all this shit, right? And here's my thing. No one does anything for nothing, okay? There was a treaty between the United States and Russia that we would never advance NATO eastward. We broke every treaty we made with them. And there was one that was most important. We would never try to get Ukraine to join NATO. Now, America has this big thing, and I'm all pro-American. I love my country. But reality is reality and truth is truth. And America has gotten rid of other leaders and overthrown them in their countries with their media, because how can the media in a third world country be so organized and work just like ours? Because we got something to do with that. They have overthrown other governments to get rid of a leader that wasn't in agreement with what they wanted, and replace that leader with a leader that was in agreement with what they wanted. They put Zelensky in power over. We put him in power. This is what I know and I believe. We put him in power, okay? And once we put him in power, then they preached us this free will shit, like Putin was taking away their rights and their free will to do what they wanted to do. And here's a bunch of American people trying to impose our belief and our religious beliefs and belief system on foreign people on foreign land that don't have nothing to do with us, that were living there long before we existed and wasn't breaking their backs to come across over here. If China came, let me give you an example of it so you understand what I'm saying. If China came and said, we want to bring our military and we want to set up shop and we want to buy the land in Key West, America and none of the Americans would be cool with that. If they said we want to build a military base in Key West, and all the Key West people say, hey, China's offering us all this money, we're going to sell our land and we're going to allow China to come over here and set up shop, and we're going to take this money and it's our stuff, we own it, and we're going to let them in here, they'll get blowed off the fucking end of the map if they tried to do that shit. And it wouldn't matter what women and children were down there for us, because if those women and children said, we're not going to leave, we're going to stay here, and we're going to let them set up shop, and they're going to come in here, and you're not going to do nothing about it, we would blow their ass off the map, women and children and all, to save the rest of the country, because it's connected to the U.S. We would never allow that. I don't understand how people can do things to people and then claim the Bible and then disregard everything the Bible's saying, with do unto others as you want done unto yourself. Don't do things to people that you don't want done to you. And I don't understand how women can so quickly switch and change and want to go with all the wrong ways of everything, the worstest things. Oh, let's chop off the boys' penises because we can't keep a man and we can't get along with men, and we want to be powerful, and we want all the men to turn to girls, but we still want men to protect us, but we still want men to sleep with us like men, but we want them to submit to us and worship us. Women are so sick, a lot of them. I'm not going to say all of them, but I want to say at least 90% of them are fucked up. And I just have to say it, because anybody that will promote the mutilation of little children, and knowing we all know as little children we didn't know shit, we don't know anything, we don't know what we doing, we don't know right from wrong, and we will promote this because a mom is saying she wants to turn her boy to a girl. That's a problem, bro. And I'm sorry, but I wouldn't vote for somebody that's pushing that shit. And when it comes down to Russia, Putin did what Putin was supposed to do. He has to protect his thing. We all watch mafia movies, right? If the mafia owned this 60 blocks in this city, and their rival came and the opposite family set up right on that line, the mafia already knew we gotta go to war and get rid of them. Or we just gonna come and set up shop here, but we not gonna interfere with what you got going on. But we just want to set up shop right on your line, but we not gonna interfere with what you going on, and this is your enemy. Everyone knows that's an act of war. Okay? Putin invaded Ukraine because Zelensky wanted to join NATO. And America pushed it to us like some free will shit, so that they can promote and have us on their side when it came to this whole war thing. That's what I see. They wanted us to throw our belief system to those people. Well, let's look at that. Let's say China came in here and they invaded us and they took over. Do anybody understands what that means? Well, let me kind of give you a brief walk down and run down of that street. They came in here with their communist beliefs to people that are free will. You know how many people would get killed over here when they took over? Because our minds would not be able to accept what they're saying, and we would not be able to do what they're asking us to do. We would fight, or we would rebel, or we would go against it because we knew it was wrong, but they done won and took over this motherfucker. You know how many people will just get killed, shot on sight because they refuse to go with the flow and accept the reality? So many people. So many of us will be gone. And if you want to understand what I'm saying, go watch the movie The Red Dawn. It tells you everything you need to know in what I'm telling you right here. The Red Dawn is a perfect example. As a matter of fact, Biden and Obama's in the beginning of that movie doing exactly what they did in real life here. They're giving away America and selling it out. That's exactly what they did in the movie. Both of them were in office at that time. That's exactly what they did in the movie. Listen to me. That's what they did in the movie. And in real life, that's the same thing they're doing now. So when the channeler dude said all this shit, any channeler, any alien that's looking in here and seeing all the bad shit that lady did is nobody that's on our team. And that channeler dude is full of fucking shit. Because I have to believe that some of this shit he's coming out of his mouth saying, because he's a below average looking man that look like he root for the women. What aliens is looking in here seeing all the bad shit this lady's doing and telling us to leave her in power? We're at war because of the lady, people. We're at war because of her. And we all know that if she went in office, we would still be at war because she was supported by Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, and the whole rest of fucking friends. And they want war, and if you think it's a joke, go look at some of the donations of her campaign. Bill Gates gave her $50 million. She had $2.5 billion and was broke by the end of it. Where did all that money go? How do you spend $2.5? Listen to me, bro. How do you spend $2.5 billion? Okay? How do you spend that in a couple of months? She started late. She still managed to have $2.5 billion donated to her. How do you go broke? Where did all that money go? And she still owed millions when it was over. Listen, and you want a person like that to run the show? That lady was crazy. That lady couldn't answer one question. And she wasn't going to answer no questions. Because what was she going to say? She wasn't smart. She was just as bad as Biden. I think she would have did a worse job. Because she's a woman. And she's being ran by a group of crazy men. She would have... Listen, the lady said, I'll take your freedoms away with a swipe of a pen. The lady came on TV and said, when we get through depopulating the population, our kids will have clean, fresh air to breathe. Bro, when you hear somebody saying stuff like that, and they is doing it without flinching or bending or... Listen, this is why women could not run stuff. They're too easy to manipulate. Look at what happened in the garden. They fucked it up over there and they doing it over here. Not all the women. Some of the women. And that's who this applies to. And the weak men that choose to follow those women. Any motherfucker that came for talking about Biden and voting for Kamala, I already knew what time it was, bro. These people ain't dealing with a full deck of cards. These people obviously have no clue about reality, or just don't care if all of us crash and burn. What I see about some of the women, and let me just keep it 100, mostly the black ones, they didn't give a fuck about the children. They didn't care about the right thing. They didn't care about common sense. They just cared about having their way. And it didn't matter even if they ran the country in the ground. Let me just say something to all the women who wanted to put this lady in power. If we went to war and we lost a war, everything that we know and love and we're able to do is gone. There won't be no more TV shows where if China were to come and win and take over, there'll be no more TV shows that you on The View gonna have, because they taking all that shit away. And anybody that thinks that, oh, they won't do that, yeah, once they got everybody where they want them and they got all that power, the next thing they gonna do is take y'all ass down too, because you don't got your freedom of speech. Yes, they will. So women have no clue. They don't fight wars. They don't go to war. They don't understand anything about doing the right thing. They just don't. They don't. And you can't let them run anything, because they think with their feelings, and it's always wrong. The black women having a hard time picking a baby daddy. They can't even pick the right guy to date. They don't even know men. And you want to run a country? No, you don't need to run no country. You need to leave the men stuff to men, because if they told you, hey, you got to go drop this bomb on them women and children over there, because the people we want is over there, and this is our opportunity to do it. And she'll say, if you don't do it, they're going to do it to us. She'll say, well, I can't do that. Well, I'm just going to take that chance. And that's all our lives that she taking that chance with. We lose something, we're done. And let me just make something real clear in case people don't really get it. Zelensky couldn't win a war against Russia. If that was the case, then America wouldn't need to have all this nuclear arsenal that they've been building for Russia and preparing and having all this, spending trillions of dollars on fucking military equipment and advancing the military for Russia. If Zelensky could go beat them. So we're basically funding a war that was never going to be won. So you're just burning money. You're throwing it away. You throwing it away. He had no chance of beating Russia. And our news media just lying to us left and right. And all these people are eating it up, hook, line, and sinker. And it's fucking sad. It is sad, bro. Common sense just don't seem to be common anymore. People don't want to do the right thing. They just want to do what's best for them in the moment. They ain't thinking long term. They thinking right now. And they ain't looking at how bad this thing gonna be down the road. Anybody with common sense would know that if Kamala went in office right now, we would be in trouble. There would be no war. They'd be giving Zelensky more money. She'd be letting in the migrants, giving them more power. They were talking about fast tracking the illegal immigrants from prison who done been there for rape and murder into the military. And Biden signed the order. I don't know if everybody remembered it, but I remembered it because Joe Rogan talked about it and I looked it up. He signed the order that gave the American military the right to fire on its citizens. The dude is on his way out the door. He don't give a shit about none of it, and really the government is who really running it. Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, the really elite is really your government. Those are the ones that's running it. This dude running around putting shit in all the food and smiling with us. He ain't got a lick of degree and nothing. And yet, he over here making vaccines and trying to force people to take it. And black folks don't even know who's making the vaccines. They still think it's just a company, not understanding that this guy is the primary funder. He's the owner of the companies. And people just don't want to wake up. The women will take us to our deaths if we allowed them to. Just for their little moment of fame and glory with some money attached to it. They would take us to our deaths. And when we got there, oh, well, we're already here now. Now you need to try to figure out a way to get us out of here. No, I need to leave you here to suffer your consequences and get me out of here. Because ain't no way you shouldn't be leading nothing. Well, why you took us this way? Well, I didn't like the way that didn't the guy tell you the right way for us to go back there? Yeah, he did. Well, yeah, he said it, but I didn't like the way he said it. I didn't like the clothes he had on, his outfit and the way he talked and his tone. I didn't want to go that way because I wasn't going to do what he said. So you took us the other way that was going to get us killed because you didn't like his outfit and his tone. Yep. Now we're all fucked up. And guess what? She wouldn't give a shit. So under those understanding, and this is how the women are thinking, you can't let them lead. To me, this is like the garden all over again with Adam and Eve, and we have a chance to choose God over Eve. Now, I don't mean that Trump is God. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the right thing versus the wrong thing. Because really what it boils down to is the right thing versus the wrong thing. I always thought they were two wings of the same bird anyway. Democrats or Republicans. I'm more like independent. I'm not into any of it. But Trump, I liked him before any of the stuff. Because Trump don't really read from Trump cards. Trump says what he wants to say. You can't buy him because he's already a billionaire. And he's a good businessman. And he's done a lot towards the black people. To the black people that don't know, they need to educate themselves. He also was the one that gave us the stimulus checks to begin with. And then Biden locked up the people for the stimulus checks. So you got to look at, if somebody preaching freedom, I don't care if it was a Klans member. If he preaching freedom and the other person preaching lock everybody up and starve them and kill them, I'm going with the Klansman. I'm following him because he's talking about freedom. Because at the end of the day, if a war starts out, we're going to need each other. And it ain't going to matter about color because death don't care about nobody's color. It takes everything. It takes black, white, Indian. It don't care. It takes all. So black folks and people and white folks, everybody need to get their shit together and get some common sense here. Women don't fight wars, and women should not be involved when it comes down to these kind of decisions. You can't listen to them. Taylor Swift wanted to vote for the other side because she was a woman and they came to her and she started talking all that shit, we need peace. Listen to me. The men didn't even respect Kamala. They wouldn't even talk to her. Ain't no peace. You need a commander-in-chief, a person that's willing to go in there and negotiate with them and go to war with them. They have to get our fucking respect. We all know that if a bully starts bullying you, they ain't gonna stop bullying you. Because you say, I changed my life and I'm gonna be peaceful. He's still gonna kick your ass and take that lunch money. He's still gonna pick on you every chance he get because that's a bully. That's what he does. He gonna keep doing it until you do something to him. And this ain't no time for no peace when you're already at war. You got a country at war. If that war don't stop, we stay in a recession. Do people understand? The women don't seem to get anything. If this country goes down, ain't no more nail jobs, no more weave, no more makeup. All that stuff's over. Now you back to looking like what your real face you gotta wear. Then, oh man, somebody need to do something. Oh, we're in trouble. Now, because you can't get the shit you want. No. You can't listen to the women. They don't know what they're talking about. Some do. A lot of them don't. And if you follow them, they'll lead you to your death. And they won't care. They showed that to me when it came to the children. They showed that to me when it came to who they wanted to vote for. I could give a shit about it. I think the people are crazy. I think people are out of their damn minds. So, no. Common sense just isn't so common. And Klaus Schwab is a very dangerous man, because that dude wants to take everybody's freedom of speech away. The France dude want the same thing. And it is just a ugly day. He wants the elite and the rich to run and make all the decisions for us. And Obama had already told us when he was in office that there will come a time in the future where the American people will have to give up their freedoms and trust the government to make the decisions for them, because they wouldn't be able to make it for themselves. And he knew about this time coming. They all knew it. This was a plan. And I'm sorry, but these are a group of psychopaths. They don't ever plan on quitting. You know, psychopaths, what I'm learning about them is they don't ever quit. They don't ever, you're going to have to take them out. They just ain't going to quit. They ain't going to stop till you do something to them. And it's after you do something to them and it's serious okay, well, let me kind of back off. And some still won't back off. They'll power back up and come right back at you. So I don't see how you can fix this without getting dirty, personally.